In the annals of misplaced hysteria, there really aren't too many greater examples recently anyway than the cacophony we've heard from the left and their allies in the media over President Trump's decision to withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord. I mean, the world really isn't coming to an end and the apocalypse is not upon us. In fact, it shouldn't have been any great surprise that President Trump did this. As a candidate, he promised to do so, and he kept his promise. Now, should there be a healthy and maybe even heated debate, no pun intended, over climate change? Of course there should. But that also meant that the Paris Accord should have been treated like an ordinary treaty and debated in the United States Senate. But Barack Obama chose, as he so often did, to end-run Congress and not take it through the U.S. Senate. I think largely because he thinks he didn't have the votes, and he didn't. Because this accord ultimately is of dubious worth. It costs an awful lot and delivers negligible results. I mean, if everything goes as planned after spending trillions of dollars, we will come up by the year 2100 with a negligible decrease in temperature. The U.S., of course, is already a leader in climate change. We've cut our carbon emissions by 12% in less than a decade. We did that through innovation and technology largely. Meanwhile, China has become the #1 emitter in the world. And guess what? Under the Paris Accord, they have until 2030 to get started. In the meantime, the U.S. starts chipping in our taxpayers' hard-earned dollars. Those are dollars from the same people who are going to pay dramatically more for electricity costs as a result of this accord, had we not gotten out. Now, for rich folks in Hollywood, that doesn't mean that much, but to ordinary working people, $3,000 or $4,000 a year increase in their bills is staggering. And added to that was the loss in jobs by the hundreds of thousands, including probably 50% of those in the manufacturing sector, already hurt under the economy of Barack Obama. So there's an awful lot of emotion over reason in all of this that's gone on over the course of the last couple of days. And you have to ask the question of those on the left. Will the Paris Accord really stop global warming? That ought to be part of the healthy debate. The hypocrisy of the left is overwhelming because the Hollywood elites, traipsing around in their SUVs and jet-setting around in their private planes, individually probably contribute more to the carbon footprint than any other group of American people. Two takeaways, though, that I think are serious and important. One, the best way to deal with these issues is through innovation, technology, and my two favorite words, economic growth, because that is what the United States has demonstrated leadership in already in dealing with carbon emissions. And the second is that the proper function of a tripartite government, especially here in the United States, needs to be refocused upon. We need to get away from a president acting unilaterally, as Barack Obama so often did, and get the people's representatives, the folks in Congress, in this case in the Senate, back into the equation, because that will lead to a truly healthier world. And that's the best 60-ish seconds of your week.